You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Feel as if it's already yours, but what no one tells you is what happens when it doesn't feel real. When your body is still tense. When your chest still tightens every time you check your bank account. When the words, "I am abundant," feel like a lie you're tired of repeating. And yet, you keep trying. More affirmations, more vision boards, more books, more rituals. Still waiting, still hoping, still stuck. This video isn't about manifestation. It's about why it's not working for you. And what no one has dared to say out loud, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are in resonance with, and that's a much harder truth to swallow. The subtle violence of desperation. Let's start here. You're trying to manifest from a place of lack, from urgency, from ache, from a silent scream in your nervous system that says, "I need it to work. I need it to happen. I can't take this anymore." But the quantum field doesn't respond to need. It doesn't respond to force. It responds to coherence, to alignment. You can say all the right words, but if the emotional frequency underneath is fear, the field mirrors that back. Not because it's punishing you, but because that's the broadcast you're sending. Imagine reality like a perfectly polished mirror. You're standing in front of it, trying to smile, but your fists are clenched behind your back. That tension is what the mirror reflects, not the smile. Your energy is speaking louder than your thoughts. This is the part most teachings get wrong. They tell you to think positively, to focus on what you want. But thoughts are electric. Emotions are magnetic. Together they create your electromagnetic field, your vibrational signature. And that's what the quantum field reads. If your thoughts say abundance, but your body screams survival, you're creating a dissonance that blocks reception. This is why your manifestations stall. You're sending mixed signals. And mixed signals don't collapse probability into reality. They keep it suspended in possibility. Unrealized, unformed, unreceived. The identity that's holding it all back. Now let's go deeper. Because this isn't just about what you feel, it's about who you think you are. Your identity is the operating system behind everything you attract. And most of us are running an outdated version of self. You're saying, "I want to be free," but underneath that is a self-concept built around limitation, scarcity, and unworthiness. You've built your personality around what didn't work in the past. And now you're wondering why the future won't arrive. Let me put it plainly, you can't manifest a new timeline from the same self who's afraid it won't come. Alignment isn't performance, it's truth. This is not about acting as if, not in the performative sense. You don't need to pretend you're rich while you're scared. You don't need to fake a smile while you're panicking inside. You need to learn to regulate your nervous system so that your frequency reflects the version of you who no longer needs to chase. This is not performance. It's presence. When the feeling of having becomes more familiar than the pain of waiting, that's when things move. That's when the quantum field starts bending around you. You are the observer, and that's the problem. In quantum mechanics, the observer collapses the wave. But what kind of observer are you? Are you observing with trust? Or with doubt? Are you watching your reality with faith? Or scanning it for signs it's not working? Because the truth is uncomfortable. Every time you look for evidence, it's not coming. You're feeding the version of reality where it never does. And the quantum field simply says, yes. That's what you chose. This is not magic. It's code. Forget the universe for a moment. Think like a coder. Reality is not personal. It's programmable. Every emotional state is a signal. A line of code. Gratitude is one frequency. Desperation is another. Fear writes a different command than surrender. And the field, the matrix, the space-time intelligence around you is simply compiling your emotional inputs and returning results. So ask yourself, what signal are you emitting most of the time? What code are you unconsciously writing into the quantum field? You don't need more effort. You need more stillness. The irony is, the harder you try, the more you affirm that it isn't here. And that tension, that fight, becomes the anchor keeping you locked in the old version of yourself. Stop trying to force it. Start learning to feel it. Not in fantasy, in physiology. When your nervous system calibrates to a frequency of peace, your outer world begins to mirror peace. That's not wishful thinking. That's neurology. That's biology. That's quantum physics. You can't fake safety. Not to your body. You can whisper all the affirmations in the world. But if your nervous system doesn't feel safe with what you're asking for, it will block it. Let's be brutally honest. You say you want abundance. But when money shows up, your stomach tightens. You check your phone again. Did it really come in? Will it stay? Will it disappear? You say you want love. But when someone finally sees you, really sees you, your shoulders tense. Your breath shortens. Your gut instinct is to pull back. That's not sabotage. That's the body doing its job, protecting you from unfamiliar experiences. And here's the paradox. The quantum field delivers what's aligned with your dominant state. But your nervous system still thinks the old reality is safe because it's familiar. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. You can't manifest from fight or flight. When you're in survival mode, you're not thinking about timelines. You're not bending reality. You're scanning for threats. And every time you scan for threats, you collapse back into the old frequency. Back into fear. Back into identity. You say, I'm trying to raise my vibration, but you're still clenching your jaw. Still holding your breath. Still trying to figure it all out. That's not coherence. That's control disguised as spirituality. Regulation before manifestation. No one teaches this. Not in the law of attraction world. Not in the manifestation trends. But it's the root of it all. Your nervous system has to feel safe with what you're asking for. If your body associates wealth with pressure, love with betrayal, success with loss, then every time you visualize those things, your body triggers resistance, not reception. Your signal becomes incoherent, split between your desire and your fear. And the quantum field, as always, simply reflects that duality back to you. The trauma code. Here's what most people don't realize. You're not just manifesting from your thoughts. You're manifesting from your unresolved trauma. From the version of you that froze at age 9 when your parent yelled. From the teenage self who learned that approval only came when you performed. From the adult who failed once and decided, I guess it's just not for me. Those parts of you are still inside. Still active. Still shaping your vibration. You're not broken. But your body is still broadcasting signals of self-protection. And those signals are louder than your intentions. Quantum receivership requires somatic safety. You want to be a match to abundance. Then abundance has to feel safe in your body. Not just exciting. Not just desirable. Safe. That means breathing without collapse, feeling without panic, receiving without shrinking. It means becoming a person who can sit in gratitude before it comes. Who can rest in enoughness without proof. Who doesn't need the outer to validate the inner. That's where the signal sharpens. That's when the field starts rearranging. Your body is not the enemy. It's the portal. You don't need to escape your body to manifest. You need to enter it fully, because your body is the antenna. Your emotion is the current. Your energy is the code. The more safety you create within, the more permission the quantum field has to bring the unsafe miracle. Because miracles don't feel safe to a system that's only known pain. So ask yourself, can I let this feel good and still believe it's real? The fix you've been avoiding. Everyone wants the shortcut. No one wants the slowness, the stillness, the discomfort of feeling safe after years of chaos. But this is the fix. Not another technique. Not another visualization. Not another guru's 5-step program. It's this. Can your body hold what your mind says it wants? If not, that's your work. Not adding more, but melting what's frozen. Making space for what's already yours, but can't land in a tense vessel. There's something cruel about desire. You want something because you don't have it. And in wanting it, you declare over and over that it's missing. You say, I want abundance, but your signal is, I don't have enough. You say, I want love, but your frequency screams, I'm still alone. In the quantum field, everything is now. Every possibility, every version of you already exists. But the moment you want it, you separate from it. You push it outside yourself. You place it in the future. And the future is always later. Not now. Not here. Not yours. Wanting creates distance. Let me say it another way. The stronger you're wanting, the further your signal places the reality. Because your vibration is not just shaped by what you say, but by how you feel when you say it. Wanting says, it's not here yet, and the field agrees. Yes. Not here. Not yet. Not because it's punishing you, but because you've defined yourself as the one still wanting, not the one already being. The pain of waiting becomes the identity. What if the reason nothing is showing up is because your identity is built around the wait? You've become the one who almost gets there. The one who's always learning but never arriving. Always seeking but never finding. It gives you purpose. It gives you something to work toward. It gives you struggle, and struggle is familiar. So when peace knocks on the door, you hesitate. Because who are you without the striving? Who are you without the want? The problem with holding the vision, you've been told to hold the vision, to visualize every day, to stay focused on the outcome. But here's the paradox. The more you stare at the image of what you want, the more you reinforce the belief that it's not your life yet. You watch other people living it. You replay the fantasy. You imagine the future version of you as someone else. Not you. Not now. And this becomes your trap. You're addicted to the feeling of longing. Because longing feels more real than receiving. Because hope feels safer than having. Because the pain of lack is known and the joy of arrival is foreign. What happens when you finally get it? Here's the question no one wants to ask. Can you actually handle having it? Can your system digest the reality of having no more excuses? Of having no one else to blame? Of having to actually live what you've been preparing for? Sometimes the fear of getting it is greater than the fear of not. Because if you receive it and still feel empty, then what? The fantasy dies. The chase ends. And now you're left with yourself. Desire without lack. So what's the fix? How do you want something without pushing it away? Here's the answer. You don't want it from lack. You want it from fullness, from expansion, from alignment, from the overflow of already being enough. You want it like the ocean wants to reach the shore, not because it lacks waves, but because motion is its nature. You become the version of you who's not asking the universe to fix you, but inviting the field to reflect back who you already are. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you accept. This is what no one teaches. Receiving is not about effort. It's about permission. Do you feel safe having it? Do you believe you deserve it now? Can you live with the consequences of actually becoming the version of you who already has it? If not, your field knows. Your body knows. Your signal knows. And the quantum field simply says, you're not ready yet. Not because I'm withholding, but because you are. Wanting is a wall. Being is a bridge. When you collapse wanting into being, the field collapses with you. It responds not to your longing, but to your embodiment. Not to your chase, but to your coherence. So stop waiting. Become. Not in fantasy, not in thought, but in nervous system, in tone. in presence. Let the wanting go. Let the timeline merge. Let the version of you who already has it take over. Because they're not far away. They are you. Without the story of not yet. You already know the principle. The act of observing a quantum event collapses it into reality. But no one ever asks the more dangerous question, what version of reality are you observing over and over again? You say you want new life. You say you're shifting. But you're still scanning your external world for signs that nothing has changed. You wake up and look for proof. Did the money come? Did they text back? Do I feel different today? And that scanning, that constant checking, is a subtle form of observing lack, of collapsing the old reality again and again, not because you want to, but because it's your habit, your addiction, your default. Every time you check for change, you reinforce stagnation. It's cruel, isn't it? You want to believe it's working, but your mind says, I'll believe it when I see it. So you keep looking, refreshing, waiting for the signal. But in doing that, you send a louder signal back to the field. It's still not here. You are the observer, and you are observing absence. And the quantum field, like a perfect mirror, responds, yes. Let's keep creating that. The observer effect isn't just physics. It's psychology. You're not just collapsing particles. You're collapsing stories. You're choosing meaning every moment, whether you realize it or not. Let's say you open your inbox and see no new opportunities. One version of you says, nothing is happening. I'm stuck. Another version pauses and says, the field is still rearranging. I'm being prepared. Both are observations. Both are signals. Both collapse into different realities. And the field doesn't choose between them. You do. Every moment, every interpretation, every time you decide what it means. Perception is a creative act. You've been taught to think that reality is out there. But the truth is, reality is a reflection of your dominant perception. The way you look at it creates it. If you see life as slow, it becomes slow. If you observe progress, it speeds up. If you expect disappointment, you'll find it, even in blessings. This isn't wishful thinking. It's pattern recognition. It's quantum alignment. Your brain is a filter. Your attention is a spotlight. And what you spotlight grows. Stop measuring. Start trusting. Here's the trap. You set an intention. You visualize. You feel good. Then you measure. You go, let's see if it worked. And the moment you do, you introduce doubt. Not consciously, but energetically. The field now reads your frequency as uncertainty. Not because you're broken, but because you don't yet trust the unseen. And that's okay. But be honest about it. Because your body can't lie. And the field always listens to your body, not your words. Shift from observer to embodiment. So what do? You stop observing for results, and you start observing from identity. Let me explain. You don't wake up every day checking if you're still a human. You just are. It's self-evident, undeniable. You don't need proof. What if your future self, the one who already has it, felt just as real? Not a fantasy, not a visualization, but your baseline state. That's embodiment. Not waiting, not hoping, just being. And from there, the field conforms. You're not waiting on the field is waiting on you. We love to think of the universe as something that's testing us, delaying us, hiding from us. But what if the delay isn't cosmic? What if the delay is internal? What if the field is simply saying, I'm here, but you're still looking in the wrong place? You're still measuring the mirror instead of becoming the reflection. The field isn't behind. Your alignment is. And the moment your perception updates, your reality follows. You've been waiting for the right sign, the right frequency, the right version of you to click in, But what if there's nothing to wait for? What if the version of reality you're trying to reach is not in the future, but layered over this exact moment, hidden behind your attachment to not yet? What if time isn't linear? What if the signal isn't something you tune into, but something you are? You don't need to get closer to the thing. You need to match the frequency of the you who already has it. And that version, it's not ahead of you. It's now. But only visible when you collapse the illusion of distance, the lie of separation. There is no next level, only a shift in signature. The field doesn't respond to your timeline. It responds to your tone. That tone isn't your voice. It's your energetic posture, your signal. We think manifestation is about moving toward something. It's not. It's about collapsing the false structure that said it wasn't already yours. When your internal signal syncs with the version of you who already lives that truth, time folds. Desire ends. Waiting ends. Receiving begins. Not as a reward, as a reflection. You're not attracting, you're aligning. Let's make this clear. You don't attract your desires like a magnet pulling from outside. You become a pattern that makes certain realities inevitable. That's what alignment really means. It's not spiritual theater. It's pattern lock. You're not chasing. You're sinking. When you stop thinking, I want this, and instead start embodying this is who I am, the simulation reprograms. You shift out of probability and into inevitability. Because the field doesn't ask, what do you want? It asks, who are you being when no one's watching? Collapse time by collapsing identity. The biggest delay in manifestation isn't timing. It's self-perception. You're still being the version of you who thinks it's far away, who thinks it's big, who thinks you need to earn it. But that version is the wall, the protector, the outdated code. To receive, you don't move forward. You go inward. You drop the character. You drop the resistance. You let the old emotional gravity dissolve. And suddenly, there's nothing between you and the thing. No distance. No time. No story. Only presence. Only signal. Only now. The quantum field is neutral, but you are not. This is the final truth. The field isn't kind or cruel. It's not rooting for you or against you. It's simply mirroring your coherence. If you're split inside, between hope and fear, wanting and doubt, the mirror returns static. But if you're unified, if your nervous system, your emotion, your story, your identity all hum with the same note, that's when reality bends. That's when you stop chasing. That's when it lands. Because now the field can finally see you clearly. Not as the seeker, but as the source. How to actually fix it. Let's end with this. You want the fix? Here it is. Stop asking when. Start asking who. Not when will it come, but who must I be to receive it now? Regulate your body until it stops rejecting joy. If joy still feels dangerous, you'll block every blessing. Collapse the gap story. Every time you say, I'm getting closer, you affirm you're still far. Practice stillness until it becomes your baseline. If your stillness is stronger than your doubt, the signal becomes pure. Embody it now, not in fantasy, but in nervous system reality. Walk slower. Breathe deeper. Expect nothing. Allow everything. Because at the end of all this, you're not here to become someone else. You're here to remember who you already are without fear, and the version of you who already has it. He never doubted. She never chased. They simply knew. And the field responded.